Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Righteous Force, Flatzoid, Arwin, and Chocolate Sane, and 10th Man in Google+. How you all doing?
Good.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Hello. Good afternoon.
We've also got Sleeping Warrior and Quantum Eraser on Skype. Very good to have you.
Yes, can we spend some time or devote some time to snorting shrooms and chasing it with Grandpa's cough medicine? When we get a chance. Thanks.
We're also joined
Been there, done
QE
that.
or whatever.
It's in the past.
QE.
I just want to know.
Don't equate that stuff with people talking about information like that. I mean, have you ever done that before?
Don't remind me. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
What time is it?
Listen.
Is
I
that what
just
you're
wanna-
equating us to, QE? Come on.
Hang on. Let me get this out. This is too good. I just want to know where the longitude, latitude lines are for the Polaris bar, where I could get black and white Russians at half price.
Oh my God.
That'd be great. Hey, wait.
I don't want to hear it, right? Look, about these black and white Russians. Human trafficking is a very serious issue.
What? What? What are we talking about here?
So let's do some housekeeping.
Arwin, you're the best when you don't get a joke.
Right.
Like, what? What's
Those
going
watching
on?
live, right?
Apparently, Arwen's not a golfer.
No, I am not.
Look at that.
I don't have the proper fancy pants for that.
Out to Aaron Benjamin. Anyway, you'll have to tune into Nathan Oakley show. This will go out on Thursday if you're watching live to make sense of any of this, because it'll all be in the pre-show. Anyway, any signs of Earth curvature? Hopefully we'll get through the housekeeping questions.
Yeah,
this time around.
you can Google that.
What is this going on?
Oh, goody.
Hold on. Why is this going on?
Don, shut up.
Well, no, this is
You can
going out
Google
live.
Earth curvature. Yeah, it's all there.
Live. This is live. We are live. Just so you know.
This
Shut
ain't
up,
going
Don.
on Thursday.
Yeah, the pre-show and after show will go out
I
Thursday.
got a question for Don. Is that a theoretical
I'm not doing what Don
explanation?
said. I'm actually gonna Google
Oh, my God.
Hold on, I've got two
all
people trying to answer.
have-
I'm trying to get Earth curve. Dawn's going on as well. What? Any signs of Earth curvature?
Dawn said we got all the Earth curve.
There is
Dawn's
Earth
got
curvature.
Don's claim seems
You
about
can
as
Google.
realistic as your claims about the Russians.
Calculator.
One
Given
in
that
the
it's
Discord.
just something he's read on the
Wow.
internet.
There's a
Man,
link in the
I-
Wait a
Discord
second,
chat now.
everyone talk at once. Ready? One,
No.
2, 3, go!
Right, just Dawn. Go ahead, Dawn. Are you trying to get through an Earth curve evidence?
No, I'm just saying it's there if you want it. There's a picture on Discord now. There's some on YouTube. There's some on Google. You can read Wikipedia. You can actually become a scientist and do obstruction experiments. All the evidence is there. Yeah, we have it.
Obstruction
The
experiments.
calculator.
Hold on.
That
I heard
excludes perspective.
All right, I heard obstruction experiments.
The answer is yes. Evidence for Earth curvature is all there if you want to look
Yeah,
for it.
cool. Yeah, I heard you. And the end
Next.
bit was obstruction experiments.
Next.
Did that... What's the problem here? Is it the case that you're so used to just
We're moving on
spewing
to We're moving on
out
to the second housekeeping
fundamentalist zealotry that when it's challenged or asked for any supporting cowbell, that you immediately rumpus me even asking you to back your claim? I heard the
Okay,
words...
there's one photo in Discord. My
I
claim is the one
heard
photo
the
in
words
Discord.
obstruction experiment, Dawn. Can we have a reasonable conversation about the words you just said or not?
It won't be reasonable, no. We could try, though.
Let's have a
I
try.
think I made fun of some of Don's proof.
We're asking
presenting
for
it.
evidence of Earth curve. I've heard
Yeah.
the words
Okay.
obstruction experiment. This sounds scientific. Excellent. Best news I've had all day. Some scientific evidence of Earth curve from Dawn. Tell us all about
Okay.
it, please.
So you get a camera on a tripod, nice and steady, near the ground. You point it at the horizon and wait for something to go behind the horizon or appear as it's going behind the horizon. Then you take measurements. You do that again on another beat, watch something else. You do it with celestial objects. Then you compare them all, and then you do little experiments at home on tables with stuff in your garden with DVD cases, whatever that thing you did was, that silly thing.
Oh my god.
Let me know when you're done, Dawn.
You collect all this evidence, and then you apply the variables if you really want to do the full scientific method, Nathan.
Yes, please.
QE style.
Yes. Yes. What are they?
And then
The variables.
you come out with the blatant evidence that everything gets obstructed when it goes
yes.
behind the horizon.
Excellent. We've got the full shebango, including conclusion. So what were those variables, Dawn?
You can look into that if you want. That's part of the science.
It's your
isn't it,
claim.
obviously? I'm not here.
It's your
I'm not here
claim.
to teach you
This is
science.
your claim.
No, my claim was yes, there is evidence for Earth curvature all over the internet.
Yeah, surprisingly, Dawn. Yeah, I can claim there's unicorns and then just go, no, let's move on. Yes, there is. And
Yeah, but
just
that would
never
make you
back
silly,
my claim.
wouldn't it?
Dawn,
Claim.
I'm talking now. That means shut up. Not talk through every word I say. Not disrupt the end of my point. But shut up. So, Dawn, I can just make an overt claim that I don't back with any cowbell and say that unicorns are real. And when asked or put to task in terms of backing that nonsense, I just talk through you asking me and then say, yes, there is proof of unicorns because I said yes when asked, which is what you've just done.
Do you want?
I still
do you
haven't
wanna see
finished
my
talking,
cowbell?
Dawn. I still haven't finished.
You did. You made
still
a massive
haven't
gap
finished,
between
Dawn.
words.
Last chance, and then you're no longer welcome because you clearly can't have a normal conversation. So now I'm asking you for your cowbell based on your assertion, your positive assertion that you do have evidence of Earth curve. You said obstruction experiments. Then you mentioned that if you wanted to put it through the scientific method and do it properly, you could apply the variables. Then you made your conclusion that that proves Earth curve. So now we'd like to not just dance past the bit where you say you've got empirical validity because of an adherence to the method. We'd like to know what the variables are, please.
Evidence, not proof.
That's
the
not
variables
an answer to my question.
are height,
Height's not a variable.
weather,
Height,
and distance.
height is what? Your independent or dependent variable, Dawn? Because height's not
I
a
don't know
phenomena,
about
it's
all
also
that.
not the
I
cause of
don't care
anything.
about any of that. The variables are height, distance, and weather.
Listen to what I say in reply. Height is not a phenomena, nor is it the cause of an effect. So it's neither...
one of the variables,
Dawn, I haven't
isn't it?
finished talking again. It is neither an independent nor is it a dependent variable. So no, if you're saying this is science, then no, height is not a variable.
Oh, I'm going to roll it back because you're too fussy about the method.
Too fussy? What about the empirical method of science used to back one's assertion with empiricism? Yes, I'm very fussy about that, Dawn. Unfortunately, we have pretender clowns in our midst, and they like to assert that they have this empirical methodology adhered to prove their fundamentalist religious belief in spheres that we live on. Now, that's unfortunate for the person making the claim, in this instance you, when asked or put to challenge to actually prove that they have scientific validity for their bullshit assertions, when in fact they don't, and probably don't even know what the words mean. That would be you in this instance, Dawn.
Okay, so I'm going to...
Not okay. Don't be a pretender clown muppet here. Don't tell us you've got science when clearly we're going to put you to task on it and prove that you haven't.
talk too. You can't just
You're
talk
being a
over me
pretender
every time.
clown.
A pretender clown?
Yeah, pretending you know what the hell you're on about when you say you've got scientific evidence of something and you don't even have any of the ideas that you would require to formulate this into some sort of science. You haven't got those things. You don't have any scientific acumen whatsoever, but yet you're here telling us that you've got it. You're a pretender clown.
I have observations of obstruction.
We've asked for scientific evidence because of your use of the word experiment. Obstruction experiment, you say. You don't have that, Dawn. You're just using words you don't understand because you are a pretender clown. Pretender clown. Someone pretending to know what they're talking about when they don't? You, in this instance.
I don't have to stick to your method, dude.
It's not my method. It's the scientific method. Not Nathan's method, not Quantum Eraser's method. It's the scientific method. And if you're in the context of science and claiming you've got an experiment, then you better have a hypothesis to test. You haven't got that. You don't have independent and dependent variables. You've got height, not a variable in this instance. So you're a pretender clown.
Except it's all there. All the evidence still. Whatever you say.
It's not scientific evidence. Aren't you listening? You used the word experiment, meaning you're contextualizing your evidence as scientific. But you don't have that, pretender.
An observation. That's all it is.
Well, it's not scientific evidence then, is it? As you asserted when you used the word experiment. Not scientific.
Evidence. Yeah, it is scientific evidence.
No, it's not. You don't know what that word means. Now I'm done with you, Dawn, because you're not conceding you're a pretender clown retard, which you are in this instance. So sod off, come back tomorrow when you can concede that you don't know what you're on about, which you don't. This is absolutely not scientific evidence of anything.
Nathan, if I may for a moment, I have a technical issue to report.
Oh no.
The chat you are showing is from the previous Hangout, not
What?
the one going on.
The chat. Oh, well done. Well informed. Good. Thank you, Arwin.
No problem.
Any signs of axial rotation?
Can I say? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. If it's about Earth curve, definitely.
No. I was going to say something. If I could say something to Dawn for a moment, if he's there.
Kicked him out.
He isn't.
No, if he's still there.
He is not.
You want me to take him?
It's just about his photograph.
Give me a minute. Still here.
Okay.
I don't think he's still here, is he? No, he's not here. Sorry. Evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No.
No.
Evidence of an axis?
Nope.
Axial rotation.
Oh, all right. I might need to start there first.
Oh, I see. Yeah. We don't have any evidence of an axis, let alone axial rotation. No, that's quite right. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No, definitely.
No. Maybe RC Mice can still give us.
RC Micey?
Nope.
Clearly not.
He's not in there anymore.
Any evidence for the distance of the sun?
Had that already.
Oh, sorry.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Nope.
Nope.
No way.
The evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
I still kind of wanted to show this ridiculous thing.
They are been on here.
There are been on. What's that ridiculous evidence, Arwin?
Yeah, it's what yielded the Google search when I looked for Earth curvature based on Don's thing. And I found this, the Teacher's Guide to the Universe, activity measuring the Earth's curvature. And it's basically a little bit more sophisticated to do the sticks in the ground trick and assume R and all that. And they have it all with math backed up. Here, look at this.
You zoom in a bit.
To the horizon is...
Yeah, that could work just as easily on a plane.
It's too bad the teachers don't tell their kids that.
Right. But that's what I found. It's
be
all
honest,
math R-based.
More garbage. More garbage. Yep. Look at those lines.
Well,
on
they'd
top
be
of the globe.
fired though. You realize that, right?
First thing that popped up after I saw like 3 curvature calculators in the Google search results. So they really like to put those curvature calculators on top, not some actual like scientific reference.
Get the name right.
Arvin, scroll up to the pictures of the globe. Yeah, right there.
Perspective hijacking.
Right.
It's the right
Hey,
name.
Arvin.
The begging a
Arvin,
question,
you see
perspective
something-
hijacking curve calculator.
That's the one.
Arvin, you see something wrong with this picture with the sun and the sticks?
Yeah. Well, the Earth doesn't really look that healthy either. So
No. How in the world can the sun cast a shadow in a well or a stick when it's aiming towards the sky from the angle?
well, that's not the problem of this explanation. They
Do you
just
want the
don't
answer?
think about that.
Do you want the answer, 10th man?
It's just here to teach you the trick of presupposing it.
Yeah, but it
No, I
doesn't
know,
answer-
but
do you want the answer?
yeah, go ahead.
Celestial refraction in their model.
What's the question about?
About the depiction. You can't see it, unfortunately. If you go to the live stream.
No, I can. I'm looking at it.
Go ahead, Arwin. Explain the problem.
Oh, it was me, actually.
Oh, sorry, 10th man.
Well, based on this and those two sticks and where the sun is in relationship, it's coming from below and aiming upwards. Let's assume the North Pole, for example. So how in the world can it cast a shadow on the Earth if the light's hitting the stick and in front of the stick is just sky? The sun would have to be above it or to the side to cast a shadow. It's below it. It can't cast a shadow in the air, can it?
Oh, but if it's slightly
10 man.
Hold on.
It could on the
Sorry, Nate.
clouds, maybe?
It has to be slightly looming then, doesn't it? I'm being serious. You're saying the sun would need, if you were to take this out of Muppet Vision and put it from your perspective, the sun would need to be higher above the horizon, correct? That's what your point is.
Yeah, equal or higher.
Right, and I've already given you the globehead answer. Celestial refraction. It's a looming sun. Right? It's just the same old bullshit with the terrestrial celestial observations as it is with the terrestrial. They just use the same bullshit. It's just a hologram of the sun being projected up from behind Earth's curve. That's what they'd argue.
It's the flatifying effect. It's this mysterious optical phenomena that makes the globe look perfectly like a flat plane. Right?
Looming?
That's what.
10th man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you say flatifying effect?
Yeah, good word. Good word.
I like that. Flatifying.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Are you wondering how it's possible to have the sun make a shadow
No.
at noon? Is that what you're asking?
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking if.
Okay, what were you asking?
Well, do you see the picture?
A second now. I don't, because I'm just on Discord. I only have a Discord app open. I can't open the app.
Bad. Yeah, if you want to see it on live stream, you'll have to go to Nathan Oakley channel.
Well, let me see if I can describe it.
I'll let it go then.
No worries.
Well,
Thanks.
Is there any more points? Any more for any more?
Well, not on this, but I do want to say something about R.C. Meisty's statement about reliable predictability, if I may.
You may, but can you contextualize it? So we're talking about maps and their predictability in terms of duration of travel, correct? Is that concise enough?
Well, I was trying to get him to define reliable predictability when he was talking about it, because why don't they use that with the circumference of the Earth in 8 inches per mile square then? Because can't that be reliably predicted that every mile is 8 inches per mile square of fall away?
I don't think that it uses that formula here, but I did find another snippet detail.
No, Arvin, you're missing my point.
They're not measuring the circumference of the Earth. They're
saying it's predictable and it's reliable, except it doesn't work. So he wants to say it from his point of view on the map. But then when I asked what I wanted to ask him was, let's take your reliable predictability for maps and apply to a known number that your side of the argument says it's there. It's predictable. If the Earth's a sphere, it's got an R value and it's predictable, but we never see it. Where's the reliability then?
Didn't that come after Nathan asked him if magnetic north is an absolute direction? Isn't that why he went to that?
Right, he was referring
Well-
to declination. But I think whoever was talking is saying he wants to apply this to a different value.
Yes, because if he's going to say, I have reliable predictability for my beliefs, then I want him to show that with 8 inches per mile square, and he can't.
8 inches per mile squared isn't the calculation, though, man.
Oh, what is it then?
Is there a new updated calculation we don't know about?
Hold on,
Mr. Meisty?
Hold on.
8 inches per mile squared was published in the 1880s by some guy who believed in the flat Earth. That's never been used in the scientific community to predict Earth curve ever.
Sorry, that's not correct. That's not correct.
Is the curvature calculator, all it is a camera calculator, isn't it? It'll just tell you whatever the resolution of a camera is exactly the numbers that are in a curvature calculator.
That's not correct.
No, that's not correct either.
If you'll ever notice, the curvature calculator measures exactly what you see out of a camera. You notice that?
Yeah, but you and R.C. Meisty are wrong. It comes from Pythagoras. Pythagoras came up with that. Somebody years ago was a flat earther, and not little cameras.
No, 8 inches per mile
Pythagoras.
squared. 8 inches per mile squared is like it's conceivable that it's from a parabola.
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras theorem.
That's from a parabola.
It's the Pythagoras theorem.
Pythagoras. 8 inches per mile squared comes from Pythagoras.
Hold on, Flatzoid. Go ahead, Brian.
It does not come from
hold on a second,
Pythagoras.
RC. Go ahead, Brian.
Pythagoras. That's where it comes from. Do your research. Right then, take Pythagoras' maths and go backwards with it.
That's not Pythagoras' math. That's for a parabola. Not for
Pythagoras. It comes from Pythagoras.
It does not come from Pythagoras.
Right. Okay then.
If you would like to show me the work from Pythagoras,
what one comes from Pythagoras? What one comes from Pythagoras?
Then show me the citation.
One on Pythagoras' maths. What one comes from his?
Right, but I mean, anybody can use the Pythagorean theorem. That doesn't mean that the result came from Pythagoras. It just means somebody used his theorem to do it, and the person who actually used it should be the one whose name is attached to it, not Pythagoras.
We live in 2019. They say the Earth is 24,904 miles in circumference. I mean, we can't break it down to get 8 inches per mile square. Is that what you're saying?
8 inches per mile squared is for a parabola, not for a sphere.
Oh, so we're not on a sphere.
I'll tell you why a curve equation doesn't work. Because we don't live on a curved surface.
Okay, so can I just ask you a quick question? So the actual mathematics for the actual curve then, would they be more of a curve than 8 inches per mile squared, or less of a curve than 8 inches per mile squared?
That's really not a relevant question because...
Oh, really? I'll tell you then, because it is relevant. It's more. It would be a more pronounced curve if you did the actual mathematics. Let's not even get into terrestrial refraction and how that unbends it. But ultimately speaking, the actual Earth curvature would be more severe than 8 inches per mile squared. I would be surprised why you'd say that's not relevant, as it's you that pointed it out that it's not the actual mathematics. Surprising that I know the actual mathematics and they're more severe of a curve.
Yeah. But I'm just saying...
Sorry, was that mumble? Yes, as in, yes, Nathan, that's absolutely correct. The curve that we're being told that we should measure or see is less curved than the Earth actually is.
Right, Nathan. You are right.
That's a problem, though, isn't it?
No. That Nathan's right about something? No.
Oh, it's not a problem that the Earth should be more curved than you actually think it is? That's not a problem?
Well,
when you're the one sitting here saying the math is wrong?
Should be more curved than I think it is.
That's
People don't say that the Earth is curved at exactly 8 inches per mile squared. That's over an approximate.
Okay, so what's the point?
It should be more, but we don't see any. We just see the effects of perspective.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's your
probably.
claim, Nathan, but that's...
Not my claim. Perspective's real. Yeah? It's not included in the curve mathematics, and it's absolutely included in every single picture, video, and every single view from every eyeball ever opened. Not my claim. A fact. Perspective is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not included in the curve mathematics, though, isn't it?
Why would it need to be?
I'll say it again. I'll get really close to the mic while I say it. Perspective is real. It is included in every photograph, video recording, and taken into account by every single eyeball with vision capabilities that has ever been opened. So, more importantly would be, why wouldn't something that is always in effect whenever looking at anything, why wouldn't it be included in a mathematical calculation for things we see? I.e. the curve caths, which hijack perspective, remove them completely, and claim the less severe effects of the curvature of a globe is negated by reifying an R value, and then excluding this effect, which you're asking me why it would be included when it's always in effect. In this picture now on screen, that's got perspective. In any picture you ever present or run through the mathematics of the curve calculator will also include perspective. So why wouldn't it be included?
Well, why, Nathan, explain to me what you mean by perspective.
You having a laugh? This is taught to children.
No, I'm not, no. But
Do you not know what perspective is? Are you stupid?
Perspective. No, I'm asking you.
Objects converging
Nathan
in the
Oakley,
distance.
Tell me.
Things
what
getting
are the
smaller with
mathematics
distance. I'm trying to tell you
behind
now.
your
You're
word
just talking
perspective?
through me. I'm trying to educate a
No, you're talking
retard
over me.
about things becoming perceivably smaller into the distance. So, for example,
Okay.
this boat on screen now seems pretty small. It's not. That's just an effect of perspective. It seeming small because it's far away. Now, I reminisce about an episode of Father Ted, where Father Ted has to explain perspective to the, let's call it what it is, the retard in the show called Dougal. And he has to hold up a little toy cow and say, this cow is small. And then he looks out the window at a real cow and says, that cow is far away. So my question is, are you as stupid as the person depicted on Channel 4's Father Ted and don't understand what perspective is? Clearly so. So, given that I've now detailed what perspective is using a toy cow and a real cow at given distances, do you think it's reasonable to exclude this always in effect fact of life called perspective from your curve calculation?
Nathan, I ask you to use, if we're going to use it in a mathematical calculator like you...
Oh, you don't? If we're going to, no, you don't. Maybe you're missing the point here. If we're going to, you're not going to. You're going to use calculations that exclude it.
So I'm not going to use it.
He's asking if you were to include it, how would we do that? What's the maths behind it?
I couldn't give a crap. I don't reify a sphere and then mathematically calculate how much should or shouldn't be seen based on a removal of perspective. That's not my problem now, is it? So how would it be included when you reify a sphere? I couldn't care less. I'm asking why it isn't. To you, the guy who's got this reified sphere model.
Then show me what the perspective calculator is so that we can explain what we're looking at.
Oh, why? Why? We're not using mathematics to tell people they live on a sphere. The curve maths do that. I haven't got some mathematics that I'm punting as proof of a sphere now, have I?
No, Nathan, but you're making a claim and you have no mathematics as of yet to back it up.
I'm not making a claim. I'm pointing out that the mathematics you, the fundamentalist religious zealot who believes he's on a sphere, you use to claim that what we see in a picture, which does include perspective, is what we should see on a sphere when we exclude perspective.
No, Nathan.
Yes. That's precisely what the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculations do. They take the effect of perspective and they call it Earth curvature.
I'm asking you to show me then mathematically how we represent that.
I couldn't give a crap. I'm not representing it. It's being misrepresented by curve calculations. So asking me to provide a just so story in the face of your just so story with these mathematics that exclude perspective is not reasonable. I don't need to provide you an alternative to point out that the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculations do not include perspective because they are taking the effects of perspective and calling them Earth curve. Me providing an alternative is not part of this discussion.
You're saying, though, Nathan, I don't have to provide evidence for my claim.
My claim is that the curve maths have hijacked perspective, because they have. And the reason they have is because they don't include them, but are claiming to describe what you see. And what you see will always include perspective. That is my claim and my support for my claim.
Okay, I invite you to click the link I posted in the live stream chat, move the distance dial back and forth, and see the size of that item change, and then claim again that perspective isn't taken into account.
Sorry, who is that addressed to?
Emerald. Or to Nathan.
So I'm completely confused now. Should I be looking at something?
Yeah, I put a link in the live stream chat. It's the Bislin's Earth curve calculator. And the point is, when you move the distance, the target distance, the size of the object changes. That sure looks like perspective being taken into account for me.
Oh, right. Maybe you can show me where that is in the mathematics.
Sure.
Go on
And
then.
in fact, even if you take a side view of any geometric sort of like
Sorry, a side
layout
view
of the
wouldn't
scene,
include... I don't need this segue. You said in the mathematics, there is the
I'm going
perspective.
to tell you how the math takes it into account.
Sorry, do you want to show
If
me
you have
that
an
then?
object that's a height h, and it's twice as far away, then that angle that it forms from the bottom to the top of that object is going to be smaller. So when you try to draw that angle, it's going to be smaller.
Okay, and
It's
can you
just
show me
it's taken
that?
into account purely by the geometry.
Sorry, can you show me that
He wants
being
you to
done
show that.
in the calculations, please?
I'll try to make a drawing if I can. No problem.
Emerald.
Art ability. Yeah.
Emerald, you know the water Bislin calculator? You know the one that looks most like reality, the one you're talking about, where you move the object away and it seems to get smaller, like angular size change. That's what you're talking about, Jess?
Yeah.
You know underneath that, you know all the little blue lines that make it look like it's curved?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you take them away, is that a straight line? The horizon line there.
When you take them away, is that a straight line, the horizon line?
Sorry,
Yeah, get rid of all the blue lines.
I don't want to
and
do
look
this.
at the black
Sorry,
horizon.
Sorry, how it's represented in the
dead
model, I'm not too concerned about. What I'd like to see is this angular size reduction being demonstrated as calculated in the curve maths. I'd like to see that, please. Once you've shown it me, once it's been demonstrated that the angular size reduction is now accounted for in Walter Bislin's calculator, I'll contact Mick West and ask about the contradiction. Of course, I already appreciate that it's not included in Walter Bislin's calculator, but I'm challenging this man to show it me. Go ahead.
Okay. My question is, though, if it isn't accounted for...
I don't want to hear your question. You've just claimed that perspective is included in Walter Bislin's calculator. Now I want you to show me...
Yes.
Shut up.
I'm saying it's evident by the fact that the object changes
Shut up!
size when it moves.
Shut up! You have just claimed that the angular size reduction is included in Walter Bislin's calculator. Show me that now. While he's doing that, I will reiterate that it is not included in the calculations.
Is he looking?
Don't know.
I know.
Well,
Find
he
the
can at least
JavaScript
tell
source.
us.
Is this the d equals 2 pi dA over d or something? What is the equation, the angular size
No,
equation?
I think it's arcan, I think times size over distance or something like that.
Okay, I thought it was what is it? D equals 2 pi dA over 360.
No, it includes it in the description of the angular size.
Anyway, we're waiting to see this being processed in the curve maths.
I just wanted to throw a shout out to Spurs. Good job on the no pressure tool. We look forward to more information on this.
Really?
Do not commend Spurs ever.
You mean the video Spurs got fooled by mesh?
I got to go to work in a minute, but I got one question.
Are we moving on from this? Can I concisely?
Yes, let's move on.
Can I? Yeah,
David,
no worries.
come on, David.
I'll make the conclusion for the third time. Angular size reduction at distance is absolutely not included in the Earth curve calculations. That is incorrect. The man who asserted it is simply wrong.
Is this the same
You know what
Walter
is included
Bislin?
though? I'm begging
Oh
a question.
my
R
God.
value. Where the hell they got that from?
I should have waited. I knew
wonder.
it was coming, Chocolate.
Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Quantum Eraser. Go ahead.
Is this the same Walter Bislin that deletes entire threads when he gets compromised? Is that the same person we're talking about?
I don't know. Maybe you could remind me. It could be the same person.
Is it Walter Bislin?
Yes, Walter Bislin is the man. I'm not sure about this deleting thread things. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Yeah, he likes to delete threads. I caught him on Taboo Conspiracy. Just lucky, I guess. I popped on to one of Taboo Conspiracy's videos, and Walter Bislin had just posted, 2 minutes ago, right? So I wrote a post to him, compromising his dumb ass because he couldn't answer any questions. He wouldn't know what science was if it landed on his face, spun around, and whistled Dixie. I already knew that, but I figured I'd give him a chance, give him a go at it. And so I posted it. A couple other people posted after me, commenting on my post, saying, okay, we're going to wait. I went to dinner, came back. I had the notifications of the other people still in the YouTube, what do they call that? In the notification thread. So I hit it, and it didn't take me anywhere. I said, what the hell is going on here? So I went back to the original video, and Walter deleted the whole thread. What outstanding moral and ethical character right there, boy. Intellectual honesty at its best. Clown.
Damn, John, what'd you say to him?
What did I say to him?
Yeah.
Post a single hypothesis regarding anything. That's what I said.
Really? That's it?
That's all it took.
All right.
That's all it takes with these clowns. Any evidence of globe-tard pretended clown liars? Any evidence of that? We ought to add that to the friggin' housekeeping.
All over the place.
Yeah, that's a definite.
The cause of anything
some of them are just
should be
some of them are
something.
just passionate.
scientifically.
Some of them just really love the heliocentric model. We have to remember that. They're obsessed with it.
What is this claim that you got a scroll bar that makes things smaller and larger? Is that your proof of Earth curvature? Have you considered voluntary? Oh my God.
Oh my God. Anthony's got something to say, clearly.
Anthony, go on mute.
Oh, he might have something to say. That might be why he's come off mute.
What the
Or he accidentally got off mute while he was walking.
Okie dokie.
All right.
That was yeah, excellent.
That was lovely. Thank you for your input.
Can I just say something about the water Bissling calculator?
Why?
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
If you don't mind.
Yes, I
Thanks.
don't mind. Go ahead.
The reason I mentioned the reason I mentioned the blue lines to Emerald is that if you look at the actual thing, the blue lines that are underneath the actual horizon in what he's talking about are just made to look like a curve. So the thing doesn't still actually curve. There's actually no curve on the horizon. It was made to look like a curve. Take away the blue lines, even just put something in front of them. It's just straight horizon. So even as a projection, it's not. It doesn't curve. It's only just makes a visually look like it is.
I see.
It's a model.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, if you do the FE version, it literally the object just becomes smaller no matter how far away you do it. There's no perspective. That's just ridiculous.
No.
Wait.
There's no diffraction limit. It's not. Hold on. Just want to get this correction in. If it's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to infinity, but it's still there, then that's just excluding the diffraction limit, the point where things become too small to see.
Exactly. That's what I meant. It excludes that part of perspective.
Right. Well, I didn't know. I've never really studied or really even looked at Walter Bisslin's calculator, if I'm honest. I just know that it won't include perspective. So without even looking at it, I know that's the case on account of the fact that the calculations are set in stone. You can't have Walter Bisslin's calculator including perspective and Mick West's excluding perspective because they've got to match up. So they both do exactly the same thing. We established that when... This has got to be 2 years ago when Walter Bisslin's calculator first came out, which is probably the only time I ever looked at it, took a cursory glance, realised there wasn't any angular size reduction in it, and then moved on. Because you don't need to know anything else other than it's got to match everyone else's calculator. They can't be contradicting each other. They do the same thing. It is based on taking you out of perspective view, putting you into Muppet vision. They're both the same. The fact there's a little depiction next to it showing things happening is irrelevant of how the mathematics work. Of course. Doesn't make any difference. The mathematics still put you in Muppet vision so you can see the side of your own head. And was that Righteous Force just talking in regards to things not disappearing? Well, that's what happens in the distance. With perspective, things disappear eventually. Well, that effect of things disappearing in the distance is what they call Earth curve. That's why it's the perspective hijacking curve calculations.
But it's not the full
I was saying that because
ballpark.
I literally just used it just now. And I was like, what? Like, no, things that's ridiculous. It just gets smaller and smaller and smaller, but it's still there. I'm like, that's not a thing. 3,000 meters away that's not going to happen.
Well, in Muppet vision, if I draw on the left-hand side of a piece of paper a man, and on the right-hand side I draw a building, and in terms of the way it looks on the page, I make the building 10 times bigger than the man, and then draw a line from left to right, and write on it 1 million miles. Does it matter? They're both in the frame still, right? What if I put 10 million miles on that number? Well, it's still there, right? Yeah. Well, Muppet Vision's very useful. The whole point of putting it in an orthographic view is to remove perspective. Doesn't matter what the distance is. It's still there. One's on the left, one's on the right. Just increase the scale, increase the number. You can still draw a line between point A and point B. Well, yeah, as soon as you put it in perspective view, things reach the angular size resolution limit of the camera or your eye or whatever you're using, telescope. You know, that's the diffraction limit. And when you reach the diffraction limit, it disappears.
Yeah, but it's enough to fool the baltards, right?
Not the what?
Right? It's enough to fool the baltards. What he does, it's just Mick West calculator with a scroll button that brings things closer and further away. And then they say, we account for perspective.
Well, and remember, these guys account for
freaking clowns. I'll tell you what.
Remember,
if people can't realize this, go ahead, overtalk me. Everyone always does anyway. That's why I got my own channel. I'm going to do a shameless plug. Today, 8 p.m. UK, 2 p.m.
John, I'm on mute.
Hey!
John, just to let you know, I'm on mute.
I'm on mute.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go in there.
See,
I'm not.
My shameless plug just gone because everyone's on mute.
Except me.
I wasn't,
All right.
but now I'm.
Yeah,
now
there we go.
I
There's
am.
chocolate. I knew it was coming.
Come on, John. That's how we
shameless
say
plug.
hi.
Shameless plug again. I'm going to scream it. Shameless plug. 2 p.m. U.S. Central, 8 p.m. UK time. Hello?
Yeah, you didn't say what.
I'm still. Be here or be sphere.
Right. Let's educate people on how to plug things. Number one, where is here? Here is the Quantum Eraser channel. The time, yes, we've got that. Right, 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. UK. Be here or be sphere. Here being the Quantum Eraser channel, YouTube channel.
That's right. It's Jose
Same flat
Retard,
time,
Sean
same
Bufford.
flat channel.
Oh my God.
I'm on mute for the rest of the episode.
He's playing martyrdom to drag out this plug. I know he is. He's dragging out this plug as long as possible.
Is it going to be live this time? Still premiere.
Is Chocolate in Discord? He's getting kicked.
No, he's not. No.
I can go in Discord and you can kick me from there, but now I'm still in Google, so that might not work out here.
Just for a ceremonial kicking. Yeah, do it. Make me feel better.
You want me to?
No,
Give me a minute. I'm driving.
Hey, I got something for y'all to think about.
I thought you had to go.
No. You're talking about the cost-benefit analysis of voluntary drug analysis?
No, I just passed one, matter of fact, but there,
You
we all.
No, come on, play fair. No, it was mandatory. The police made him.
Are you equating drugs to being stupid?
Would we all agree that there's only one substance known to man that's in all three states of solid gas? Would we agree that water is the only substance known to man to be in all three naturally occurring?
Sure.
All right. When water evaporates, it turns into a gas, right?
Yeah.
And what does that water gas do? It only goes so high, comes back down to earth.
What, you're asking about the clouds? This should be interesting. A few of the trolls like to point out clouds. Let's see where this goes.
Well, we're talking about the hydrological system, just like you're talking about. This water turns to a gas, then it rises because of temperature, and it only goes so high, and then it turns around and turns back into water, back down to earth. Agree with that? So what is the container that's keeping this water vapor from going so high?
Good question. I don't know. Do you know?
Temperature.
Oh my God.
So we get rid of one, and we get the other.
On the no pressure tour, we look forward to coming back stronger than ever, and don't let them get you down, Chemo. See y'all later.
Later, Dallas.
Oh my gosh. Nice try, Dallas.
I asked them this though. I said, how does the water stay in the cup when you got a piece of paper on the cup and you tip it upside down? To me, there's a lower pressure up top and there's a higher pressure below. So they're saying it's a higher temperature below. That doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't fly. You know, the classic cup water in the cup experiment.
It doesn't fly because there's a screen mesh there on the trick. That's why.
Right, but I heard someone said it was a sucking effect, and they said there was a vacuum effect, and it was preposterous to me because you reduce the pressure on one side, and then pressure comes in on the other.
Hey, Stiggy, it was just a trick. They put a piece of mesh under there to make it a magic trick.
Hey, you're going to be late for work.
I got to go.
Now,
Bye.
tell your supervisor that we gave you an excuse so you don't have to pick up as many cans today as you did yesterday. Thanks.
So anyway, I would like to hear your opinion on this rumpus situation. I know this is for some of the audience going out a bit after the fact, but nevertheless, I read your quote after watching Ranty's video, so I didn't know necessarily where he got the information from, but now I do, obviously. But what's your take on it?
What's my take on the rumpus?
Well, specifically him the amount of times he's accused you of, I think he calls it cherry picking, the correct terminology being quote mining, but nevertheless, it's the projection aspect that I'm hoping you'll talk about a little bit. The fact that he's constantly accusing you of this, and then here he is doing it in such an overt way.
Yeah, it was quote mining. I mean,
guys, but you're just
oh my God!
engaging in this.
I thought you were talking to me, Nathan. I'm sorry. Go ahead, let him answer.
He's a fundie. He's
But,
figures
like,
we've
why
challenged
are-
Rumpus, one of the
why are we-
priests, so that
Why are we just, like,
automatically gets a
talking about
reaction,
the two
obviously.
quote fallacies?
They've got to step in and defend the priest as quickly as possible, so we'll let him get out of the
It's
system, see how he does.
It's Mr. Reverse Reification trying to call out another fallacy.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, get it out of your system.
I'm simply asking, why are we talking for an hour on a debate show about like people committing logical fallacies on both sides? Like, you're just both pointing fingers at each other. Like, you guys have cherry picked stuff. Rumpus obviously cherry picked stuff. Just like saying,
That wasn't
"All right,
cherry
we
picking.
Cherry pick things done.
Sorry.
That wasn't cherry picking.
Oh, hold on. No. What, hold on. What you're saying is both sides accuse the other of cherry picking. And in this instance, obviously, we've gone to great trouble to really highlight how and why Rumpus, in this specific example, let's just be honest about it, fundamentalist zealot who believes he lives on a sphere, how he has lied. So, given that we have gone to that effort, could you give us an example of where we have done something similar, please?
No, because it's a complete futile argument. It doesn't matter.
So when we're calling out the other side for lying and being disingenuous, quote mining, misrepresenting people, things of that nature, like Rumpus has done in this instance, we have site-specific examples of them doing it, which we demonstrate. Whereas when they say it to us, like I've just pointed out with yourself, you have nothing to offer.
Not a damn thing.
Yes. You guys cherry picked that entire article because you didn't read the entire article of what he's talking about when it comes to is gravity a force or not. That entire article is actually very
Really?
insightful.
I did. You know what the name of the article is? Do you even know what article we're talking about?
Hold on.
Guy?
He doesn't even know what cherry picking is.
Hold on. Chocolate's asked you if you know the name of the article. Do you?
It's like if gravity isn't a force something, then
It's a yes or no question.
Red herring.
Sorry, do you know the title of this article?
I understand the entire premise, but what I'm trying to
Red
say
The answer's
herring.
no. So he's accusing us of quote mining. He doesn't even know the title of the article. So again, yeah, we get accused of it all the time, but often and now, the person saying it probably hasn't read the article, definitely in this instance doesn't even know the title.
Nathan, you're running a soap opera right now rather than...
Oh, right, that sounds like an ad hominem
You
fallacy.
obviously don't know how to answer a question. You're trying to accuse people of shit. We're talking about an article. Do you know even the name of the article we're speaking about? Do you know?
What I'm trying to do is to get you guys to actually
Answer
have a
the
debate
question.
rather
Do you
than a
know,
soap opera.
yes or no, Mr. Meisty?
Rather than a soap opera.
All right. I guess that's a no. Thanks.
It's a no. He doesn't know the answer to it, right? And what this is in relation to is us asking him to give a specific example of cherry picking, which is what we get accused of. And he said, yeah, in this instance, you've cherry picked from that article. What article? The article he doesn't even know the name of. So what have we cherry picked?
Well, it's not your show, RC. You know, like you don't get to form and shape and mold it into what you want. If it's going to be a soap opera for a little bit, it will be.
Okay, that's fine. Then
regardless.
don't call it a debate show then, because right now it's been an hour of soap opera.
Okay,
Well,
listen, you can have an opinion about it, but Nathan asking people to substantiate things is not soap opera whenever they do it to them. So it's like, that's ridiculous. It's not a soap opera. It's expecting the same.
No, it's like, tell me more about what he said, she said. Like, that's
If you're
a soap
talking about a debate, and I just asked you a question as to what article you're talking about, and you can't respond with either a yes or a no, what are you talking about? How is this a debate? You're bringing the soap opera. Why don't you just answer the question the way I asked you? Then we can
You're
move
turning
on
this
and
into
proceed.
soap opera,
But
RC.
you don't want to. You just don't have answers for it, right? Because you don't know what the fuck we're talking about, right?
Yeah, because he's making shit up.
There you go.
Lovely claims without actually having information about the claim. Isn't it beautiful, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like a village idiot. Just baseless assertion after baseless assertion.
Yeah, but his
right?
argument is that, look, on our side, we accuse you of cherry picking, and here you are accusing us of cherry picking. It's just back and forth soap opera. And we're pointing out that no, you accuse us of it all the time with absolutely nothing to substantiate your claims. You just ad hom the crap out of us with nothing. And this is another example of it, because you haven't given us an example how we've cherry picked it. Obviously, we've got people on the panel that have read the article and know the title of it. You don't, but you're telling us how we have cherry-picked from an article you don't know. So there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that you couldn't give us a specific example of how we've cherry-picked. But we can. So the difference here is you're projecting the fact that when you claim we have done this, we haven't. And when we claim you have done it, you have. But you want to call that a soap opera. No, it's just disingenuous liars on the Globe side of the argument versus us pointing that out and being accused of it by those very same liars.
I think it's great that you point out that Rumpus cherry-picked something, because that's crap. What
It wasn't cherry-picked, it was quote mined. You don't know you clowns don't know what you're talking about from number one, right? What is define cherry-picking and define quote mining?
I would prefer not to be on a soap opera, no.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's your answer. They don't know what they're talking about.
He's basically asking to hold on. Is he asking for his route out? Do you want me to server mute you and server deafen you? Then is that what you're asking for? You're saying you don't want a part of this?
I'm saying move on to the debate.
This is my show. I will decide what happens. We're discussing the fact that we get constantly accused of things like cherry picking. Meanwhile, when we point out a specific example of quote mining, yeah, that's apparently tit for tat, even though your examples don't come with any demonstrations at all.
No, Nathan, I said good job for calling out the quote mining. That's dumb. They shouldn't do it.
You spent 10 minutes calling this a soap opera.
Yes.
The show opens with housekeeping. The show opens with questions of debate.
Yeah.
That's how it opens.
I understand that. What I'm trying to say is that you guys have spent an hour talking about it. Yeah.
We're going to spend more. 4 more hours.
Any rational person can see that.
You realize because we had one of your fellow Globers on here defending Rumpus, right? When we tried to get him to admit that his man just lied to him and all his other people, but he will defend that.
Right. And I love to talk an hour about this shit because at least it's not talking about gas pressure again, you know?
don't even say it.
Okay, with that, I'll say if you do want to watch the continuation of this conversation, you will have to tune in probably on Thursday to the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream for 4 more hours. A massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this debate possible, and of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the live audience for tuning in, hopefully sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. As I say, stay tuned if you are watching on Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!